Tell us about your rule on parenting and your thoughts on how children are raised, how they are raised, and perhaps how they should be raised.
Don't let your children do anything that makes you dislike them.
Right.
Right. Well, it's a funny rule in a kind of harsh way again. The first part of it that's harsh is the frank admission that children can do things that make them dislikable. Right, and that's something everyone knows, but no one wants to say. And the second part is that you as a parent, despite loving your children, might also not like them.
Let me tell you my reaction to that. First of all, it is factually correct. That's Jordan Peterson, by the way, he's a famous guy. He says that there are two things basically implicit in, those are his rules for living. He has a bunch of rules for living. And I looked at, I actually had never seen the list of the rules for living before, but same person who sent me the list of rules for living. One of the rules for living is parenting related, and this is the parenting related rule for living. So forget about the rule for a second. You know the difference between a descriptive statement and a prescriptive statement? A descriptive statement is just a description of this is what it is. It's not a judgment. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just telling you the fact. Prescriptive means like a prescription, like a doctor says, take 2 of these and call me in the morning, meaning this is what you should do. So set aside whether this is good advice or not. Let me just zero in on the descriptive aspect of it. So he says that it's implicit in his rule, this sort of, I don't remember if he uses the word shocking, but the shocking implication that children can do things that make them unlikable, and that he says this is a second thing, that a parent could actually love a child but dislike them. So I want to agree with that as a descriptive statement. It is true that children or anybody can do things that make them unlikable. That's true. Second of all, it is true that a parent, yes, even a parent could love a child and dislike a child at the same time. Totally true. I'm agreeing that is true. Now, there's where my agreement ends, because if you get into the prescriptive part of it, meaning what you should do, meaning what is guidance or advice or direction, I would go in a totally different approach. And I would say like this. Yes, it's true that people, including children, can do things that make us dislike them. Yes, it's true that a parent could even love a child and at the same time dislike their own child. Yes, it's true. And precisely because that's true, my advice to parents is you got to be on top of that. Don't let yourself succumb to disliking your child because of their behavior. In other words, it is only human nature to dislike people based on their behavior. I know that. I'm saying as a parent, you got to dig deep and you have to transcend that. You have to transcend that. And why? Why am I saying you have to dig deep and transcend that? Because Jordan Peterson is saying, don't let your children do anything that would make you dislike them. As if, he's saying it as if making sure that your children do things or don't do things that are dislikable, that is the path to successful parenting. And I would say it's exactly the opposite. It's exactly the opposite. Successful parenting is not the result of not letting your kids do things that would make you dislike them, but rather being immune to disliking your child is the path to successful parenting.
Hey, this is Rabbi Shais Taub. You were just watching a clip from my 6-week online parenting course, which I offer about once or twice a year. We're opening up enrollment right now for another cohort of that course. If you want to get in on it, there's information how to register in the description of this video below. Hope to see you there.